Hey, yeah, I'm in the middle of setting some stuff up. Race doesn't start for another few minutes, so bear with me for just a second. Yeah. No, I was just muted. You're good. Never mind. Huh? I wonder if they're doing all of these uphill? I don't think they are, right? One can only hope. Drinking and sim driving is the only acceptable form of drinking and driving. You can hear me very faintly. All right. One of these is uphill, the rest will be set to downhill for the rest of the battles. Okay. Oh, I do. Okay. And we're off. We have Trifun versus Jolasticot for the first race. I don't know if you guys want me to commentate. I can. Please do. Okay. Right now, it's a fairly even battle, although Jolasticot is pulling away out of some of these corner exits. A little bit of a slide there from Trifun. Hopefully this is a nice, interesting battle. Hopefully it's not super one-sided, although I'm sure either of these teams would appreciate that. This is a pretty long track with, you know, lots of places to, I don't want to say overtake, but there can definitely be some fun had. Right now, it just seems like Trifun is struggling to keep up through these tighter sections. It has been clean from both drivers, though. Ooh, little wall tap there from Trifun. I wouldn't necessarily call this a close race with Jolasticot leading like they are, but I am happy to see neither driver falling off the cliff. Jolasticot just running a little bit cleaner. Coming up on the final hairpin now, and it's not necessarily a straight shot to the finish, but depending on how the lines are set up, I have a feeling Jolasticot's going to get an outrun here. Yeah, I think that's a pretty clear outrun, yeah. Confirmed by our lovely judge, Jitakuzu. We'll swap here with Jolasticot following. Oh, I have the lines. I don't know if they just didn't show up. No, I got him from Shingo. A little sideways there from Jolasticot. Staying a bit closer than Trifun did on their chase run. Right on the tail now. I'm trying to sneak up the inside, but can't quite find the space. Trifun escapes this attempt. Again, leaves the door open for Jolasticot. Gets kind of squeezed off there. I'm hoping lag doesn't play too big of an issue here, since I think the server's running in Hong Kong or Singapore, one of the two. Again, though, both drivers clean. Into the hairpin. Jolasticot takes a little bit of a wider line. Doesn't help him out too much, though. Oh no. I mean, I can judge. I'm gonna have to remember the keybinds for switching camera views, though. Trifun with a little bit of a lead here. Starting to kind of pull away. Yeah, I have the lines. Oh, I got them. You're good. A little bit of a mistake there from Jolasticot. Doesn't seem to affect him much, as Trifun also made a mistake. Giving Jolasticot an opportunity to battle for position, and that's gonna be a tough overtake for Trifun to overcome. Kind of got stuck on the wall, and it gave Jolasticot an opportunity to pass. Trifun now needing to overtake if they want to keep themselves alive in this battle. They have to make a move here soon. I think that, yeah, that's an overtake. Alright, so that is going to be 1-0 for Skyline Midnight, I believe. are restarting the server real quick to set up for the downhill. While we're waiting, I'm gonna try and go into my controls. Alright, we'll just have to struggle through it, I guess. Try and rejoin here. Oh, still waiting on server restart, it looks like. Shingo, if you're still in here, will you give me a shout when the server's back up? Oh, server is restarted. Okay. Never mind. I think, Shingo, you sent me... Yeah, I have the list. Okay, I gotta pull up a coin flip now. I was unprepared to judge. Alright, so... Good luck. We will do... R32s first. Alright. R32's Gabber, Cillian. Oh, Cillian picked heads. Alright. Oh, I think we're going. Yep, we're just going. I don't know why we don't have audio. Hello? Yeah, I don't know why we don't have in-game audio. Interesting. Well, we have an early pass from Cillian here. Gabber clipping the inside. Didn't seem to affect too much. Cillian still has the inside line for the hairpin. Ooh, tough exit though.
Thank you. Thank you.
Flame, thank you for following.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I guess. You would be correct, Flame. I am incorrect. Right into the big spoon corner. Are we going to see an attempt from Gabber? Ooh, Gabber with a big oversteer moment. Gabber just looking kind of shaky in some of these left-right corners, while Cillian just continues to pull away with the lead. Yeah, there's some weird light effect going on. I don't know if these cards are just bugged or if my settings are wacky. Gabber just kind of seeming to struggle through some of these low-speed corners. No, there is not penalties for crashes. Although if you crash into another, or if you crash into the person you're racing, then either you have to give up the position or we restart the race. Gabber, big lock up there. Yeah, we don't even have like tire squealy noises. Oh, it would probably help if I switch this to... Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know it is. For whatever reason, the cars are bugged. If I'm not mistaken, that is an overtake. Following Gabber again here. Hoping to make a comeback. We are fabricating well. As I am now judge and streamer, I cannot be biased as far as who's fabricating a win, but one of the teams of all time is going to win today. As we enter into the first hairpin, Cillian has a fairly good lead. Gabber dives in, trying to eke out as much as they can to pull out some of that gap.
Thank you.
Deal, thank you for following. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Personally, I think Neo would win. Unless Morbius is a driver, in which case, maybe. Ooh. Gabber just kind of struggling to keep the car stable. Clean drift, though. Again, another wall tap. Just going to slow Gabber down, allowing Cillian to really pull out a huge lead here.
Thank you.
Piper R, thank you for following. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Ooh, another huge lockup from Gabber. Seal or Shingo, one of you guys would know. Is Gabber on keyboard steering or controller, maybe? Controller, yeah. Gotta get some of those scripts. Although I don't know if those are legal anymore. Yeah, I can switch over to Cillian. Cillian, who I'm assuming is driving on a wheel. You can definitely tell that the inputs are a lot smoother. The car just overall seems a little bit more planted through these tight corners. Into the last hairpin here. Cillian with a fairly surmountable lead. I'm gonna switch back to Gabber just to make sure that the lines are there. Yeah, that's a fairly clear outrun. Sin versus Blackbear. Blackbear chooses heads. And it is heads. There we go. There's some car sound. All right, so we have Blackbear versus Sin. Can't imagine Blackbear losing. Well, anything can happen on the Touge. This lag is terrible. Sin fighting close. Taking some shallower lines, putting some pressure on Blackbear. Ooh, a little bit of a tap. Sin backs off. Both drivers keeping it tidy for the most part. Blackbear really trying to maximize each exit, but Sin, even with the shallower line, is able to stay right on the back end of Bear. Trying to think, Decrescendo was on Fabrication for a little while, right? I think we picked him up after rookie stage. Again, a really even race. Sin having to kind of stay off the back a little bit to avoid any sort of crashing. Kind of taps the wall. Oh, big tap there. That's going to give Blackbear some space to breathe a little bit. Although Sin caught right back up after a little mistake in that hairpin from Blackbear. Ooh. Still a very tight race. Ooh, big lag spike. Sin looking up the inside. Blackbear enough space to defend. Ooh, Blackbear with some oversteer there. Ooh. Alright, Sin will have to hold off. Blackbear gets set back up here. Coming up to my favorite part of the track here. We're going to see Sin try and make a move to the inside. No, just gets got off by Blackbear, and without any impending doom, I believe this is going to end up a draw. Yeah, that's clearly a draw. Alright, now we're following with Blackbear. And kind of taking an early lead, jump starting the start. Little Blackbear's catching right back up. Into the first hairpin. Blackbear really wide. Big slide. Gonna give Sin an opportunity to run away. Although Blackbear might not have had as much time in the car as they would have liked, still looking fairly comfortable. Ooh. Mistakes are bound to happen, though, and right now it looks like Blackbear is making them. Oh, yeah, you're right. Thank you for the reminder. There we go, 1-1. Sin now with a fairly large lead. Blackbear into the guardrail again. Just gonna continue to give Sin more space. Ooh, cutting it real close. Be a lot of time lost there. Apparently pretty bad seal. Blackbear trying to cut half the course. Doing everything he can to catch up. Taking the local line, and we are running in the 90s already. Local line aside, I have a pretty good feeling that Sin is going to end up taking this one. As judge, I will say local lines are allowed for fun, but if it gives you a game-changing outcome, then probably not allowed. High risk, high reward. If I'm not mistaken, Sin should be crossing the line here shortly. About to pull out all the pieces of Exodia. Yeah, Sin with a very clear outrun here. I just want to confirm the rules. First to 2. No countdown. Whoop. What the drivers do is they match speeds until a specific line, and then they kind of just go for it. That being a line that we didn't see. Struggling to tell what is lag and what is hard braking here from Sin. Sin looking up the inside, clips the Blackbear, sends him off course, but he recovers. You can tell Sin's hungry for the win. I just realized, there we go. If I'm not mistaken, there's a couple of places where you can local line. I have a feeling Sin is just waiting for that right opportunity to either cut up on the inside or overtake around the out. Just biding their time, putting pressure on Blackbear, hoping for a bigger mistake. We see Sin going for it. And from what I could tell, that seemed like a fairly clean overtake. Blackbear now having to play catch up, but absolutely wrecks Sin. Let's see if Sin can make it back on the course. Blackbear trying to do everything they can. I think that's the Takumi technique, actually. Blackbear really shallow line through there. It's going to give Sin, who took a better route through that corner, a chance to escape a little. Blackbear 99. Ooh, Blackbear missed their braking completely, and in with a huge opportunity here. Blackbear's gonna need a miracle. And the FCs do a gum tape deathmatch. Last hairpin here for Blackbear. Assuming no crashing from Sin or lagging out. I believe that's going to be 0.4. Aurum Shade. Seal is choosing Tails. FC, okay, yep. And Seal chose Tails. And it is Tails. Update the score. Aurum Shade now 2-1 lead over Skyline Midnight. Sweet little bumblebee. Do 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 do. You know, when I searched up Eurobeat playlist, this is not what I was expecting. Alright, we have Seal leading. If I can catch back up. Brian following. And they're off. Music up just a little. There we go. Seal here with an early lead. Pulling away slightly from Brian. We'll see how things look after the first hairpin here. Clean driving from both. Brian is taking a good line through the corners. Seems like Seal is just able to put the power on a little bit earlier, and Brian fades that guardrail by an inch. Seal far ahead now, though. Brian really trying to push those corner exits, but not able to put the power down like Seal is. Oh, now Seal's tire is on fire. Clean through the hairpin. But Brian has a lot of ground to make up if he doesn't want to get caught in an outrun. I have, in fact, listened to Touge Eurobeat. I actually need to play through some of the Touge games again. Seal here, pulling almost a 2-corner lead. You can see how much the gap is growing. Check in on Seal, see what their driving looks like. Missed the apex by just a little. Into the last airpin here. Seal ripping that handbrake to force it around the corner. Potentially taking it just a little bit easier. Fade any mistakes. And I believe that is a fairly clear outrun by Seal. Follow Seal here. A good start from both drivers. Seal already putting pressure on Brian here. Expect an early overtake. Or is Seal gonna wait for a bigger mistake? Ooh, big slide from Seal. Doesn't seem to affect him too much though. Brian really blocks the inside of that hairpin. better exit, but had to put on the brakes as he didn't have enough space to make any move out of it. Brian leaves the inside open. Seal just can't get enough grip to take it in, though. How many sexual innuendos can I make before the end of the stream? That is the question. Ooh, Brian, big mistake into the guardrail, and it's a clean pass from Seal. Gonna be tough for Brian to recover after that mistake. Although, all it takes is one mishap from Seal, and that gap will close down very quickly. Bit of a lock-up, throwing Brian off their line. While Seal's clean through, and that's just going to increase that gap between the two. Brian, no slouch though. You can tell they're going for it. Woo. Not quite as brave as Blackbear for the local line. But Brian does use up every inch of road. Kind of gets stuck in the gutter there. Doesn't throw Brian off too badly, though. Deal, however, is commanding the lead and seems to be doing so with gusto. Clips that outside wall there into the last hairpin. Gonna have to do something crazy in order to catch back up to Seal. Or Seal's gonna have to do something crazy to allow Brian back into the lead. And that is an outrun. Or an overtake, sorry. All right, and we are all tied up here. All right, next we're doing Shingo versus Alcoholic. Alcohol electing to lead first. There's Shingo. Ooh, big slide from Alcohol right out the gate. And the drivers are off. Alcohol indicating that he is turning right. Maybe to throw off his competition. Both drivers clean. Alcohol had that little oversteer moment, but it pushed him out wide, setting him up for the inside corner. Ooh, and Shingo tapping the guardrail. Alcoholic, very tidy through that hairpin. Extends his lead. Ooh, Shingo tapping the guardrail again. Hello, Reaper. Alcoholic just hugging those apexes. Shingo needing to steady themselves in their line and get the car stable and under control if they want to have an opportunity to catch up. These guardrail taps aren't helping though. Just giving Alcoholic a bit of a lead, slowing down. Unsure if that's bad manners or good manners. Either way, it's very entertaining. Alcoholic just getting that clean rotation corner to corner. Letting the car drift wide when it needs to, but hitting the apexes. Shingo really trying that inside line. Gonna be slow out the corner though, while Alcoholic has a better exit. Really extending his lead here on this fast part. And we're back to running in the 90s. Alcoholic just throwing the car around, and the car is loving it. Really eliminating some of that understeer with the, ooh! That was contact. Yes, there will be. Now we get a first-person or a third-person view of Alcoholic's driving. You can tell Alcoholic has driven this combo a couple of times for sure. Seems to know just where to put the car and where to throw it in, maximizing every inch of the road. Shingo trying to defend the inside. We're going to see a move here from Alcoholic. Shingo trying to defend. Oh, gets pushed out. That was kind of dirty. Think, yeah, I'd say Yeah, we'll go into a replay review. See if we can find the spot here. And we can see Shingo defending, and yeah, Alcoholic really tries to just shove his way in there, causing a lot of contact. Didn't want to give up that space. Yeah, and that little bump on the inside sent Shingo wide. I'm trying to figure out if that would call for a rerun or if that would give Shingo the technical win. Shingo wants a rerun. I don't know if I'd call that a racing incident. Ooh, Alcoholic with an early tap. Gonna lose some speed here on this fast part. Gonna give Shingo a chance to attack. Shingo needs to keep it off the guardrails though if he wants to have a chance. Alcohol going way wide. Shingo keeping it on the inside, sacrificing some exit speed. Ooh, big mistake from Shingo. Ooh, and a mistake from Alcoholic. Shingo keeping it clean on the exit there. Although Alcoholic takes the tidier line through these S curves. And both drivers now making seemingly more mistakes. Really putting it all out there tonight. Or today. Ooh. Shingo loses the back end there and bounces off the walls. Shingo just struggling to keep that back end under control. Unlike Alcoholic, who is using that rotation to help him through these slow corners. Oh, and we see Shingo with a pass. Huge mistake from Alcoholic. Gives Shingo the lead now. Are we going to see a retake? Oh, they are side by side through some of the tightest corners on this course. Oh, and Shingo kind of squeezes him into the wall, but I don't know if Shingo had any space to go further inside. See Alcoholic going for it again. Oh, Shingo gives him the space. We have some contact, but that's a retake by Alcoholic. Alcoholic gonna have to keep it clean through this last bit, and Shingo makes a mistake, giving Alcoholic the space to... Oh, that was close, but I think that might have been an outrun. I don't want to go into free cam. Well, gonna have to do it. Yeah, that is an outrun by Alcoholic. Alright, we see Shingo here now leading, Alcoholic following. Little slidey from Alcoholic. Same from Shingo, but both seem to be even in their mistakes. Shingo missing the apex. Alcoholic, try it from the outside. A little switchback action. And they are neck and neck into a very deceptively hard corner. Both drivers keep it clean. Shingo has the inside though. Ooh, pushes Alcoholic wide. That was unfortunate. Alcoholic has the outside for this corners. Shingo, the inside for the hairpin. Alcoholic breaks late though. Sends it Takumi style around the outside. Ooh. And I think that's going to classify as a rerun if I can pull my chat up. Both drivers really wanting this win here. The alcohol pushing Shingo to the limit, trying to force a mistake early. Banging off the rev limiter. Alcoholic not quite close enough to make a move here into the first hairpin. Tries to get a better exit, but Shingo's in the way, so they stay neck and neck. Ooh, Shingo oversteers into Alcoholic, but it's clean. Some taps from each other. This is not the part where you want to try and race side by side. Alcoholic into the back of Shingo. Gives up the space. Neither driver wanting to concede here. Oh, Shingo taps the guardrail. Happens to send him to the inside, which is where he needed to be. Hello, Blackbear. Good runs. Ooh, Shingo's sliding, or not Shingo. Alcoholic sliding around. Drivers are still neck and neck. We'll see who gets the better exit here. Oh, Shingo! He taps the guardrail and he slides off the course. That was Shingo's mistake. All right, and with a rerun and a tumbling down the cliff by Shingo, that is going to put Aurum Shade in the lead by 1. FF means forfeit. Are Ozzy and Owaii driving? I don't know if I saw them. Yeah, they're both here. Oh, okay. Alcoholic and Shingo going for a rerun. So I will take the point back away from Aurum Shade. Alcoholic and Shingo fighting for their screen time tonight. Shingo seems to get a better getting a better handling of the car. And how it likes to float around the corners. Extra seat time might come at a boon to Alcoholic here. Shingo drifts wide. Alcoholic can't capitalize on the mistake, though, with Shingo all over the road. Ooh. You see Alcoholic here going for it on the inside. Right lefts are dangerous, but that's a clean overtake. Shingo now has to make up the ground and distance to get back in front of Alcoholic to fade a loss. And Alcoholic's going to do everything they can to run away with it now. The hairpin. Shingo takes it wide. Can't get into that apex. These fast parts, Shingo keeps it clean somehow. Just has to coast through these corners now that they're off their line. Maybe applying the power in some of these corners just a little too early. Kinda shoddy through there. Into this tight left. Shingo has to make something work here, and Alcoholic now with a very, very commanding lead. Shingo is just struggling to find the rotation now. Oh, did Alcoholic have a mistake, it looked like? Unfortunately, even with Alcoholic's crash, Shingo still ran into him. If it was a cleaner overtake, it'd be an overtake for Shingo. I think that was a draw. Unless they're deciding to call it. Oh, it was an overtake. Yep. All right. Now we're on to Ozzy and Owaii. Ozzy chooses tails. And it is heads. Owaii will get the option here. Owaii elects to lead. We'll be following Ozzy here. Yeah, that was a bit of an early start. Did Owaii not download the lines? No. Can't hear the background music? You should be able to. Is it just quiet? Alright, we are now using steel as the start line. Still kind of far away, but you know, there was a series in Kaido.net where we ran GT3/GT4 cars on the Touge. Oh, Owaii with a huge lockup going into the hairpin.
Thank you.
Mickle, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Theoretically, yes, Brian. Why not?
Thank you.
Blackbear, thank you as well. Owaii with a mistake running into the wall. That's going to give Ozzy a chance to make up some of that space in between the two. Into my favorite hairpin of all time. This is indeed clean and tidy. You can see that they're taking almost exactly the same line. Ozzy using up all the space on the outside of that turn. Owaii a little wider. You can see all the smoke coming up off their tires from their hard braking. And the, of course, inevitable understeer driving front-wheel drive cars. Very even between the two so far. Ozzy with a great exit there. Closes a lot of that gap in one turn. Ooh, a tap from Owaii. Ozzy kept it clean. Both drivers doing an excellent job navigating this tough course. This upcoming section is the make or break section, I feel like, though, for Owaii if he wants to get an outrun. A lot of time to be made up in these slow corners, and Ozzy makes a mistake running outside and hitting that wall. Ozzy, though, not giving up. Ooh. Another tap into the guardrail, unless on this straight, it's gonna decrease his overall speed, giving Owaii more of a chance to take it away. Make or break here, going into the last hairpin. Owaii locking up. Ozzy keeps it clean, but kind of misses that apex. Owaii here with a clean finish, and that's going to be an outrun. Entirely sure what we're waiting on here. Maybe some setup changes potentially. Owaii giving the signal to go. A much closer start. Owaii looking for a move early. Ozzy blocks it off though. Owaii very clean through there. Into the first hairpin. They both drift out a little wide. Ozzy gets on the power a little bit earlier though, eking out some tenths. Both drivers very clean through the S's here. Kind of tight through there. Gives him a straight line into the next hairpin. Ozzy just ever so slightly keeping it cleaner, though. Bit of a mistake there from Owaii. Ozzy really running that width of the track. Owaii tries to take the gutter line, but doesn't really assist him at all. Both drivers really pushing it. Ozzy had a small mistake, but hits the apex and runs away from Owaii a little bit more. Ozzy just little by little, pulling away a bit. Owaii here trying to make up some ground. Owaii very clean through the hairpin. Man, that understeer smoke is crazy. Ooh, Owaii getting the front wheel drive a little sideways. Ozzy with a mistake, clipping that outside wall. Giving Owaii a chance to claw back a little bit. Owaii much cleaner through here. You can see Owaii using that outside line there, skipping the apex to give himself a straighter shot through those tight curves. Both drivers now coming up in the final hairpin. Are we going to try and see a move here from Owaii? No, again, both drivers not able to hit that apex just right. Coming into the end here, and that was a draw. Following Ozzy is again Owaii takes the lead. Better start from Ozzy this time. Let's hope the pressure of chasing doesn't lead to any mistakes from Ozzy. Drivers very tight on that first hairpin, a little bit of contact, but Owaii keeps it steady. Owaii currently does have the lead in this battle, up 1-0 after an outrun. Electing for an inside. very even between these drivers as we're about a third to a halfway down through the course. Owaii maybe pulling out a small lead. Owaii really pushing it through there. Able to hook it around that right turn. This hairpin, both drivers take it fairly evenly. Ozzy trying to hook his wheels into the gutter, but can't quite get it to connect. Ooh, a mistake from Ozzy. He's gonna send him off the line. That's gonna give him Owaii a chance to take away, or to get away from Ozzy. Ozzy, though, doing what he can to stay near. Into these tight lefts. Ozzy again clipping that outside wall. In through this tough section. Ozzy not able to get on the power quick enough. That's going to give Owaii a chance to maybe start taking this away. Although Ozzy seems to have caught up fairly quickly. Coming into the last hairpin. This is going to be close. Ooh, Ozzy able to do some late braking and keep it on the back end of Owaii. Gonna come down to this last corner. Both drivers take it clean, and that is a draw and yeah, just a draw. Here we go, down the hill again. This has been very clean. Little mistakes here and there, but we'll just chalk that up to nerves. Ozzy a little wide. Owaii looking inside, but can't do anything. Here we'll need to see if Owaii's more straightforward line is going to give him any sort of advantage on maybe overtaking Ozzy this run. Ozzy kind of brake checking Owaii there. again, this is just neck and neck through some of these faster parts. Ozzy wide, that's going to give him more speed. Not quite enough space to utilize it, though. Owaii getting a little loosey-goosey with the rear end. Has to correct it, giving Ozzy some time to put the power on early. Although a small mistake there from Ozzy is going to give Owaii a chance to catch back up. Neck and neck as we go through some of these more sweepy turns. Owaii a little cleaner through the hairpin. Owaii kind of taking off his line there. Ozzy doing everything he can to pull away, but Owaii just stuck right behind him. Ooh, Owaii looking for the inside. Trying to capitalize on Ozzy going wide, but can't make it work. Does give the space back, though. Owaii looking on the inside. Really looking for it. Both drivers refusing to give up inches here. Ozzy's gonna have Owaii's gonna have a little bit more speed. Taps the back of Ozzy. Oh. Owaii is gonna give that space back. Ozzy should have that position back. It wasn't a clean overtake. You think so, Seal? I'm gonna review. That's the pits. Let's look at it from... Ooh, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, was it the tap against the guardrail, and then Owaii didn't really have space to, Owaii just didn't have any space to try and, like, correct or get out of the way. I would consider that to be a rerun. Unlucky, yes. I could also see it going the either way, though. Man. Alright, here we go again. Into the first hairpin. Ozzy runs wide. Owaii tries to capitalize, but can't quite get that inside line. Do this off camber right. Both drivers keeping it clean, using up all the road they have. Real late on the brakes from Owaii. Still ends up being neutral between the drivers, though. Owaii trying to push every exit, but he gets stuck in the gutter, and that pushes him into the guardrail. Ozzy now with a chunk of space behind him. Owaii on the back foot, having to play catch-up. Let's see if Ozzy can keep it clean and hope the nerves don't take over the last 5 runs we've done now. Owaii here needs to focus up. really tidy through that section. Owaii trying to sneak it into the gutter. But I think it might have hurt him more than it helped him. That light rear end really kicking out on Owaii. Ozzy trying to keep it stable through these turns, and he's doing a great job. Owaii really hitting that apex, though. Really trying to set himself up for these better exits. Into this tight right. Both drivers are clean. Owaii flips the guardrail on the exit. But Ozzy's just a little bit slower through here. That's going to give Owaii a chance to kind of catch up. And you can see that lead now is mostly diminished as we head into the final hairpin here. Owaii tries to keep it clean, but Ozzy's a little cleaner. Gets a good exit and starts to pull away a little. Ooh, I'm fairly certain that was a draw. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I don't know why it's not letting me stop here. Yeah, it's not letting me pause. That's frustrating. I'm fairly certain that's a draw. I'm just on a 60% keyboard. That actually... that is an outrun. So this is what Seal sent. I'll make sure that I show everybody. You can see Ozzy here just barely over the line, while Owaii is just barely behind it. Just enough space for it to be considered an outrun. So Seal, why is your game so dark? Whew. 1-1. Oh, it's your shader, gotcha. No, unfortunately not, Shingo. Ozzy is going to need an overtake or a draw and then outrun. And here we go again. And back down this long, treacherous hill we go. One of these drivers is just going to have to hook up a clean run in order to take this win. Into the first hairpin. Both drivers going really wide. They do say you are what you eat, and if Owaii eats gas, then... Alright, into the long left-handed spoon. Who's gonna get a better exit here? Owaii gets a better double apex. That's gonna create some space between him and Ozzy. Ozzy fights back, though. He had a good line through there. Oh, no! Pulls an Owaii, gets stuck in the gutter, and that pushes him out into the guardrail. Ozzy here needs to make up some ground and fast. Has some space. But you can see Ozzy's using every inch of the road to try and catch up. Ozzy really wide entry. Couldn't quite apex early enough though to make it worth his time. Through this section where the back end of the car likes to get really light. We've seen Owaii struggle, but we've also seen him do very, very well through this section. Ozzy electing to play it safe, but Owaii's starting to pull away a little bit further. Coming now to the really tight corners. A lot of time can be made up here if you take them just right. Ozzy really clean through there. I think Owaii might have stepped into the gutter a little bit. Ozzy misses that apex, and that runs him out wide. Coming into the last hairpin. Owaii just needs to fade any sort of mistake, and this will be an outrun for him, securing the 4-2 victory for Aurum Shade. And that'll be it. Ladies and gentlemen, 4-2 for Aurum Shade over Skyline Midnight. Congratulations to all the drivers who participated. It was a really good race from everybody. Thank you all for tuning in and watching and supporting your teams. Thank you everybody for following, and maybe this is the start of the maybe this is the start of my Haru Advan era. Streaming all sorts of different races. MRS win. Congratulations to the winners of each respective battle. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Take care, everybody, and yeah, have a good night.